Hi guys, it's Tara and Cassie, and we're back with another crypto market update. Okay, so here we are on the Bitcoin chart, and again, we're zoomed out to the daily time frame. There's a couple of things that I want to show you guys on this chart before Cassie takes us in further into the subwaves. And so the first thing that I want to show you guys is how yesterday I had mentioned that if we broke below the MA, we do have strong support at this Fibonacci level at this 2618 here at 67.8. And if you guys remember, I showed you guys how to put this extension on your chart, and I said that this was going to continue to be a significant level in the market. And so yesterday when it broke down, it bounced right off of that fib, and now it's come back up and it hit this exact same resistance that it's been using. And so we're hitting this resistance on the price, and also take a look at the RSI, because the RSI is showing very neutral right now. And so we're sitting almost halfway on the RSI, and the RSI is exactly at its MA. So this means that this is a very critical moment in the market, and we're about to see a shift in either direction. And so we're going to have Cassie take us into the subwaves to see if we can get some more confirmation of bullish or bearish.
Okay, you guys, I am zoomed in here on the 1 hour for Bitcoin. You can see this support level that Tara was talking about that we had that bounce from. So we are back above our little channel that we've built. But like I said, this correction has a few different forms it could be taking instead of this triangle here, which I feel like is going to give us more accurate prices as we get closer. There is kind of like an upward channel it's building to. So some people have that marked, but so far we're sticking with this triangle. It's providing some good confirmation. So we are back above it a little bit, but I'm not too concerned. You can see we do have that trend line we put on a few updates ago, and it's broke down below that and has come now tested that perfectly as resistance. So this is a good sign of bearish confirmation. And then take a look at this RSI on these last two highs that we've made. We've also made bearish confirmation on the RSI with a bearish divergence here. So I'm anticipating this to at least come back down and test the bottom of this. You can see we do have room on the RSI. We have tiny bit of room to come up first to hit the MA. But I think the larger move is going to be coming back down to at least test the top of this trend line here. We'll see what the RSI does. But you can see we are seeing a top here in general. So I do think that this is going to come down. One thing interesting to me is that the 1618 extension lands back at our larger support at 62,000 that we keep talking about. So if this really is the start of a larger subwave down, we're getting good alignment on what that could be in the future. So once we do get a clear break, it's possible that we do come down to 62,000. So if this starts to get really bearish, and we are seeing some signs of bearish confirmation. So I just wanted to put that out there. So we just need to essentially watch the RSI as it comes down to these different levels, paying attention to this resistance and the support of the triangles, but then looking for any break in this structure too. So for the rest of the day, because we did form that bearish top, we're going to be tracking it coming down and watching these support levels and watching the RSI. So that's what we're going to be doing the rest of the day. So we have these short-term supports here, but then we have the support at the bottom of the triangle, and then this larger support here. So those are the ones that we're eyeing. And then, like I said, making clear point of where support is on the RSI at that point.
Okay, let's go over to Ethereum. Okay, so here we are on Ethereum, and we're zoomed out to the daily time frame. And so these are the same fibs that I've had on Ethereum for over a week now. And Cassie showed you how to put this 0.5 and 618 resistance on your chart, I think last week. And so Ethereum is continuing to respect those exact same resistance levels. And we also showed you how to put these support levels on your chart, this 236, 382, and the 0.5 fib. And so Ethereum is getting sandwiched between these resistance levels and these support levels. We don't have much movement on Ethereum yet, but this is a very critical time, because you can see it. The RSI did break up above the MA, and it's also come back down and tested it as support. And so right now it's sitting exactly at that 0.5 resistance level. And so on these higher timeframes, we're really just waiting for more development. We need this to either make a new high or a new low in order to confirm the wave that comes next. And so Cassie's going to take us into the subwaves on Ethereum and show you what we're expecting for the rest of today.
Here I am zoomed in on Ethereum, and just like Tara said, we are just still ranging in general in the same few prices that we've been for a while. We are getting some bearish confirmation, so I want to point that out. So one thing that you'll notice is we have this price trend that it's been respecting pretty nicely, but if you follow that same trend on the RSI, it was using this as support, but it has since broken down that trend and is now resistance. So this is something hidden in the price chart that you only see in the RSI, so I want to point this out. This is giving us indication that this is a pivot point in the market. So we're going to be watching this closely and seeing what happens. We do have a little bit of room. Like I said, a short term, like tiny bit of a bounce, but I think the larger move is going to be down. Another interesting point is that similar to Bitcoin's 1618 extension landing perfectly at support, Ethereum's does too. So I'm going to show you how to get that here. It's right, like you can see, it's just literally right at the 382 level that we talked about, which is the bottom of A. So this is going to be significant support on Ethereum if we do start to break down, which is 3100. So we would expect maybe a slight bounce here, depending on the strength coming down to this support. If it's not exhausted enough, after a slight bounce, we could expect another low. So we'll talk about that in a few more updates probably, but I think the larger move without making a new high is coming down low here soon. So I'm going to show you guys how to get this 1618 extension in, so you have that on your charts. So it's just the high that it made here down to its low, and then this subwave high here. So you can see we're landing our 1618 literally right on the 382 larger retrace. So have that on your charts because that's going to be significant support if we do start to break down today below this price trend line. And like I said, on the RSI, we are getting confirmation that we're going to have some kind of pivot like that in the market. So keep that on your charts and watch out for that today.
Okay, so let's head over to XRP and see what's going on there.
Okay. There isn't much development on your time frame, so
yeah.
See. Okay, so I'm zoomed in here 1 hour. You can see the top of our long-term resistance in purple. This is that giant triangle of over 6 years. And you can see we're still finding resistance at this level. So instead of us breaking up and we're building support on top, you can see that this is building resistance below this. So just like Bitcoin, just like Ethereum, I'm expecting us to come down. Since it didn't make a new high, we still have the same short-term support levels. I showed you guys in a previous update how to put on these retracements, and these are just going to be the same retracements that you're going to use just for short term. But in general, I am expecting this to, like we've said for a few updates, come down to that lower support, which is still sitting at 52 to 54 cents. So you can see all this resistance it's been building. It's going to need some strength to break this. And so I think, like we've been saying for a while now, I think we're going to need to come down and test support. So even though we do have those short-term supports, I think the larger move is coming down to the support here. So that's why we have that range down there. So whenever it makes its way down here, we are going to find significant support at this bottom. But prepare for a quick fake out so we can get that strength to really propel us out of this triangle. So we put this price trend line on in a few updates ago, but this is just going to help give you guys perspective as the price comes down to know when it breaks trend before it hits a fib. So you can see that if it comes down and it breaks this trend line, you'll know it's breaking trend before it hits that 0.5 fib. So that's essentially what these are for, to help give you a frame of reference. And a lot of times using trend lines and RSI can be really powerful. So I think in the short term, we're definitely going to come down and test that trend line at least. But I think the larger move is going to be on the larger degree coming down to this support level at the bottom of the triangle, 52 to 54 cents. So make sure we're watching the RSI as it comes down, and that's where you can really find your confirmation on if it's going to continue or not. So that's what we're going to be watching for in the next day as it hits this trend line and tests it, and we'll see what the RSI does at that point. So make sure you have your RSI on there and make sure you have your fibs so you really know what you're looking for as the price comes down.